To the fair.
These are your...
They were out in the pasture, but weren't they pretty cows? Man.
That's why they took them. That's why they took pictures.
Yeah, they're really gorgeous cows.
Which fair would that be?
I think it was, we took them to the Freeborn County Fair, and they'd get prizes. We'd go to State Fair. And then my dad took them on a regular circuit to all the county fairs, or state fairs, I mean, Minnesota, North and South Dakota. I think that was it, the three states fairs.
Oh, really?
That was something else back then.
I have an article that he wrote for the community magazine that used to be printed here in Albertley.
Yeah.
And it said, around the circuit with the Burnsmore.
Oh.
Yeah. And he had...
They had to be good-looking cows then.
Yeah, beautiful.
And we're going to take your word for it that they were good-looking
And
cows.
this one we milked 3 times a day.
Really?
We did.
That's a different angle of the same cows?
Yeah, there she is, yep.
Who are the two guys?
I think that was Dr. Burns, the man that owned the farm.
In the middle there?
Uh-huh, with the other cow. Mm-hmm.
And the other one is your dad?
Yep. Uh-huh.
On the right side?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got his boots on.
Yeah. Cowboy. With real cows.
She's a good one, you bet.
More cow.
Yeah. And of course, you know, the beauty of her was showing her udder.
Oh.
Boy, oh, sure, she had horns. Mm-hmm.
Usually they cut those off.
No.
Yeah, don't they?
There's my dad with the drag, we'll call it the drag.
Yeah.
Before you planted, you plowed and then you dragged it.
Yes.
They didn't say drug, you dragged it and then you
I remember my
planted
father
it.
doing that.
And those are mules?
Wait a minute, yeah. No, those are 2 teams. I know what this one is. Prince, see now. Yeah, Prince and Kate. I can't remember, but this was Prince and Kate because they were not dark like those. I can't remember those other
But they are
horses.
all mules? These are all mules?
No mules.
No mules. These are all horses?
All horses, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. There we are. Ooh, if you don't think those are something great. My dad with that guy's name was King.
The bull, huh?
the bull, yeah. And mine was Pet. And I had taught her to bow, even.
Oh, my gosh.
And then William with his cap, I think she was Betty.
And what, all those guys standing around looking at, what were they doing?
They were, I think, the Farm Bureau who came out to look at the cows.
Oh, to see if they were fit to be showed.
Farm organization.
Uh-huh.
Your dad with his cap on?
And you had your cowgirl cap on.
Yeah.
Hat.
There I had the cowboy's hat on, see?
Yeah. And that farm was what?
Burnsmore,
That's still the farm, okay.
up at Pickler Lake. I don't know who those other guys were. But they had to admire the calves, I tell you, they were good. Cows.
More cows.
There was our house and the cows.
Must have been the same day, probably.
It represented a lot of work.
Oh,
I
cows?
bet.
Oh, farming? Oh,
That one
Lord.
too.
You can tell what was important because these are the pictures that they took.
Now,
It is up to the
this
album.
was not a Guernsey, this was a Holstein. that we had on the farm at Heartland.
I think maybe something happened here.
Represented a lot of the income.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Oh,
try it again. There we go.
That's back when.
Now we're back at the
milkman
Burns
used to
farm.
come and pick the milk up at the farm, so.
yeah.
I don't know.
They were all named.
They had to take
Every
it.
cow had a name. Star and Bessie
When I
and
was really little,
They used to-
Betsy.
yeah, they.
Mabel.
come around in their
All
truck
kinds of
and,
names.
They used to be down, you had to haul it in yourself.
Before that. Oh.
But she said it would be reading into it.
Oh, I know what the name of that cow,
Oh,
Helen.
that's right.
That cow that my dad was holding, that was Ivy,
The bull?
the mother of my
cow.
calf. Ivy was her name. And she was the mother of the calf I took to the fair, a pet. Sport,
That's your dog Sport?
yep. Jack, I remember him. Oh, that was on the Teekison farm at Manchester. He was the most talented dog. He was so well trained. You know, trained, lie down, play dead, say your prayers. He'd do all that. Yeah. Shake hands. Jack.
He's a working dog?
Mm-hmm. Very good. Yeah. Helen, I've told you about seeing the crocuses. The house is right here, and I was up in the attic, and the haystack was down below here. And the grass had melted on the south side of the haystack.
When you were done.
I know. I told you about that? Yeah.
No.
And
They
the
said
snow,
The snow melted.
yeah, the snow had melted and the grass was green on the south side of the haystack. So I didn't tell anybody, but I was going to go down there and take off my shoes and stockings, and I was going to walk in that green grass. Well, when I got down to the haystack, it was all purple. It was wild crocuses, and I've just about lost my mind. I was so excited.
Oh,
Oh, it was wonderful, you know. And I came home and told the others, nobody went down to look at them.
oh, nobody cared. Oh, well,
But I've always had that
and you loved it.
thrill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and we left the gypsies camp below the hill there too. Yeah, we got a new iron gate. So we took a picture of the new iron gate
What farm?
at the Southwick Farm, Manchester.
That's a picture with a hole in it, but it's still a house.
That was our, yeah, I can't understand. Oh, I wonder how that happened. But anyway, that's our Burnsmore farm. But it's backwards.
It's flipped?
It's backwards.
Yeah. When they took the picture, they developed it the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah.
now we know.
Yeah. There's Sport when he was a little,
Sitting on
little
the,
puppy. Isn't he cute? Oh, yeah.
and what's the horse's name?
Hazel. Yep, that was Hazel. She was a sorrel. Kind of a strawberry color. Yeah. Yeah. Look at the flyknit she had on, even over her ears. See the tassels?
Yeah, what was that?
Flyknit.
Oh, a fly net.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
oh, really? Oh, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, they put things over and keep them.
It wasn't easy putting it on, but it was worth it, you know. Because all they had to do was shake their skin, and that would shake the net too, you know, and it would make the flies go. Oh dear, that's got to be your dad with a horse. I don't know which horse that is, but I'm sure he concocted his own sled, made his own seat on the
Oh,
sled.
so he's having the horse pull him on a sled, huh?
That was our old chicken house. My mother and I cleaned that many times. We had a good time doing it, though. Ah, that's one of our city friends who came down. That's our new hog house. And she had ever, I think that was one of Harold Hutton's. I think it was Romaine, his first wife.
Oh,
That's who that was. And that's on the Pleasant Hill Farm, Southwick Farm at Heartland. This is Beth Floyd and Florence Conley feeding the lambs, and Floyd is in the doorway. Floyd was standing in that doorway during a storm, and lightning struck, and the shingles from the milk house came and dropped right down in front of him on the ground.
Whoa.
Nothing burned, but
knocked off the shingles. So they would have been wood shingles at that time? Wooden shingles?
Yeah. Oh boy, that's Rex. Oh bull. He was a Holstein.
Prize bull.
Yeah, he
That
was a
looks
good
like
one.
one, doesn't it? Not that I've seen that many of them.
There's a prize pig.
Oh, there's a prize pig, yep. I think that's that pig that your dad raised.
Well, that's the 500-pounder?
That 500 pounder, yeah. And you know what? When they loaded him, Floyd took hold of his tail to get him to, and the tail came off.
Oh, it pulled his tail off?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
you're
And they were
kidding.
loading him for market.
Oh.
Gotta be pretty husky to pull the tail off.
God, I would think so.
Yeah,
They're
he
not that
did.
easy. I move sows around there.
Well,
Not that
it
easy.
came right off in his hand. Probably was broken before or something. I don't
Oh
know.
my God.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
This is a regular occurrence. Always had a pet lamb. And we had that chair, see, that would hold the bottle.
Yeah, very clever whoever thought of that.
He could take care of himself.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
A motherless lamb, huh?
I can't tell you what. I think that's the same house out there on Heartland. I can't tell you for sure. There's our horses.
Those are your horses that,
Prince and Kate.
and the ones that went to the war?
And this is, I don't know what the, this is Rover. Hugh Woba. I remember William saying that. Come over, Woba. Yeah, that's Rover. Oh, they're old horses. Kate died of a heart attack when Floyd had her out making hay or something.
Died in the traces.
Prince and Kate, yeah.
Yeah. Sad story.
Yeah,
Sad
that's
horse
back to the
story.
Burns place. Burns place, we don't need to see them.
Or bull.
Oh, he was a dandy.
You know what was important then, right?
There's the Burns farm.
And there's the family.
Oh, no, that's not. That's the farm at Freeborn, called the Shoveling Place. And this is on a hill. And down here is a nice brook. And we'd get ice from the brook and put it in the sawdust bin so we'd have ice cream in the summer.
So you keep the keep the ice all summer by putting in sawdust.
I was 3 years old when we lived here. I remember that house, every room in that house.
So you must
I
be
had measles there.
in that picture there. That's
I suppose I was here.
looks like your mother and
The
father.
2 boys are here, and I think that's Florence and I. And
God,
it's
I don't realize how easy it
and
to do
your
it.
brother, or your father, I mean.
He would have
had
been
to be
there.
there because when my dad and mother went to Creamery, they put him, Doris and Floyd and them, put him in the buggy on top of the hill and gave it a push and let it go down. And he would scream and laugh and holler and
Loved it.
loved it. Luckily, it didn't tip. I don't know.
Kill
Maybe it tipped over, but it didn't kill him.
Lived to a ripe old age.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, how daring.
There's another funny story connected to that house. When my folks were gone, they pulled me by the heels from one room to the other. It was kids do that.
Yeah,
You know. And my knee went out of joint. My knee went way to the side. So they I don't know how they remember now how they got me to the barn. They probably kept pulling me out to the boys, and they pulled my knee over. And it's okay. I've never had trouble.
They put it back in joint.
Yeah.
I mean, it snapped out.
Yeah.
That's too much.
And I doubt that my folks were ever told.
Oh,
You know.
yeah.
Golly. That was some experience. I know that's, from here we moved to Heartland, to Manchester where Horace died of the flu, 16.
So Horace would have been alive there.
Yeah, this is Horace, I think, and Floyd here. And then your dad would be down here, and Doris and Florence and I were down there.
Well, then, when did Clarence die?
Oh, he was only 6 years old, and
So he died
he
before
was
the...
the first one.
He
He
di-
died when, let's see, when Doris was born.
So who was the oldest?
Clarence.
Clarence was the
Then
oldest.
Horace.
Then Horace.
And then Floyd, and then Doris. And Doris was born just, I think, it was just after Horace died. He died the 16th of January, I think. It's on the tombstone, I don't know what. But anyway, she was born the 14th of April. So they had a kind of a happy, sad time right there together. You know? And the first girl. So, of course, she was really, really the queen of the family
Oh,
for
yeah.
quite a while, yeah. Can you imagine what a temptation if we'd been older? The 2 boys might have crawled up there, I don't know, but I know I would have if I'd been old enough.
Yeah.
'Cause
Lots
I
of ways.
climbed up the windmill.
Lots of ways to get hurt on a farm.
We used
It's
to
the most
climb
dangerous place.
We used to climb on the windmill all the time.
But wait the top?
Oh, yes. Uh-huh. We had a windmill right behind the milk house, right next to the barn, and we used to climb on it all the time. Didn't think anything of it.
I know we crawled on the roof and jumped.
Oh, and we used to climb up on the silo, you know? We used to climb up, and you know how corn smells?
Bring a chair, Jim,
It's just
from the
awful.
dining room.
Yes, it's just awful. Well, we used to do all that kind of stuff, and didn't think anything of it.
That's
And
down on
climbed apple
Broadway,
trees.
isn't it? Or is that on Floyd's front step? I think that's on,
I don't know.
that's Broadway.
That's you and my
Yeah,
mother.
By the, where the grocery store is here, you know.
Yeah.
824 South Broadway.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, that's where it is.
That's a cute picture.
Nice picture. Nice car.
Yeah. Lovely car.
What was it?
That's
You
it.
know what it is. You know what it is?
You know who that is.
That's Grandpa
Grandpa and your
William.
dad
My sister.
And your sister, and I think it's my dad's nephew,
Robinson also.
Robinson, Lester Robinson, yeah.
And his son or something?
And is that you? That's not you, is
No,
it?
no,
That's
no.
Donnie.
We think that's Donnie?
Yeah.
Well, then that's the
That's
guy,
Barbara too then. I mean,
Doris.
that's Donna.
That's Donna.
Donna,
I mean,
and
That
yeah,
can't be Donnie then.
that's right. That's Donna and Donnie,
No, that can't be Donnie because Donnie's younger.
and this is Lester Robinson, the doctor. You remember that Dorothy worked for?
Okay, so but that's his son then.
His son that worked.
That's the doctor.
She worked for his son.
So that's Lester's son.
son,
That's
Wayne. Wayne.
So that's
That's
Wayne.
Wayne.
Wayne
Okay.
and Donna.
That's Wayne and Donna, I think, because that really doesn't.
Yeah, because it's not Donnie because Donnie's younger.
Yeah.
And that's older than Donna.
That's right.
So Wayne,
So that's Wayne. That's the doctor.
okay,
and that's-
that moved to California.
His dad. Yeah.
Oh, is that one live in Riverside?
Yeah.
Okay. That's where we figured that one out.
Yeah, we did finally.
Now there's a family.
This family again.
William
William and Doris, Florence,
and Floyd
Floyd, Dad and Mother.
at Floyd's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of pictures.
We came later in the day and had our pictures alone.
That's a
That's
great
the
picture.
Family.
So my dad, he must have been about 16.
Oh, that's a great picture.
I think about 16,
Yeah.
maybe even only 14, because
Yeah.
he sure grew up fast. He had a school teacher in love with him at that age.
Oh,
Can you imagine that?
they did that back in those days too?
Those days too.
She did. She loved. She had him take her car and go get it washed and all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
She was home ec
Doesn't sound
teacher.
too bad.
No, that doesn't sound too bad.
I made my mother's collar
Oh,
for her dress.
you're good at sewing too then.
That was William, Doris, Floyd,
Florence.
Lawrence, Finetta, Nettie, Cora, and William.
But nobody ever called her anything but Nettie.
But
And
Nettie.
she always went, that was on her tombstone, Nettie.
It's on her
So
tombstone.
that's it, yeah. There's your dad. He was only 14 there.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember how long it's been since he's been gone.
That's him too, isn't it?
I believe it
That's
is.
on the
Isn't like
Burn, on the Pleasant View
9
Farm.
years?
So he was about 6 years old.
Yeah, I think that they put hay underneath the house or something there
Yeah. Yes, we'd,
for winter.
yeah. Manure.
Manure. Well, that's what it was.
That
Keep it
with
warm.
heat, you know. Heat, manure made the best banking for the house, you remember, around the house.
Oh, so that's what they've got to do, like a
Yeah.
fenced in, put manure on it.
But smelling.
Not after it's
No,
not in the winter, not in the wintertime.
Oh,
not after a while, it
oh, we
doesn't smell.
never did that. That's a new one. Oh.
But it sure was good to insulate. There he is.
So that's on 5th Street.
Yep.
That's,
Did that in town?
that was, no, it was
Or
on the farm.
oh.
She just brought it in from the farm bar.
Typical view of our pose.
Yeah. That looks,
That's William and me
and your dogs.
with our old sport.
There's a dog laying next to Dad too, I
And I
think.
don't know who he was. Sport was the one I liked.
Yeah, your dog.
The other one was just dog, I guess.
Yeah. That's a
If
pity.
you're not interested, it's just dog.
Oh,
Oh, that is tough.
you can't imagine how he would work to put these things on,
Oh,
those leggings. And they were Uncle Pearl's leggings from the
First War.
First World War.
Oh,
And When he got through with them, then Lowell had them. And they work all morning, and then it was time to take them off.
Perfect.
They hardly had time to go
God, we should
outside.
get some of those now.
Keep busy.
Right.
A lot of trouble. Get your leg ain't done.
Oh, by the way, I was 11 there. So he was 7. I was 11 because that's the hat that Harold Hutton gave me for my birthday, 11th birthday. And I wore that on the bus. We had a bus, you know, where drawn by horses, and we had to sit knee to knee almost, you know, in that bus. And we'd get on with the snow and manure or whatever was on our feet, you know, in there. And it would melt and it got to be real slushy. One of the girls was so jealous of my new cap, she took it off my head and she rubbed it in the mess.
Oh,
So I grabbed it from her and I rubbed that all over her face.
oh.
Good going.
Sounds
She's
like
still living.
Fix her. Tattoo my hat. My
she
new
remembers
hat.
that too, huh?
I don't know. We don't talk about
You
it.
don't talk about it.
Didn't she live here in town?
Gosh.
Sure.
No, she lives in New Richland in a rest home.
Oh.
And I heard she's not feeling so well. But she was about 5 years older than I.
Oh.
About 16. And I just rubbed it.
Oh, I'm sure.
There we are. I must have been an awful determined kid because my mother wanted to put a different dress on me. But Aunt Bessie had given me this dress. And that's my favorite. See, I thought that was, I didn't want to change, so she let me wear that wrinkled up. And we'd come in on the train and everything, you know, to have our picture taken.
And she wanted you to change after you got there, and you were wearing this special dress. Oh,
Yeah.
I totally understand.
But Aunt Bessie gave it to me, and I thought it was such a special dress. I like the way your dad's foot and little button shoes, isn't that cute?
Yeah.
That is a cute picture.
I think he had diapers on there, it looks like, doesn't it?
Mom?
It looks like he may have had diapers on too.
Yeah. My mother said she always got compliments on her children wherever she went. How pretty they were.
There's my dad and Donnie.
That's
Donna.
with Donna.
Donna.
That was his first being a nephew, an uncle. And he thought that was so great, being an uncle. Yeah, there were. I don't know who's on the horse.
I think that's my dad.
Your dad, yeah. Who was that with him?
Probably Donna.
It looks like it,
You
doesn't
did a
it?
lot together, didn't you?
Oh, I'll tell you who it is. This is Harold Hutton, or Don Hutton, one of the two. And that's the horse, but it isn't the location. I don't know what all that stuff is around there. It's Arnold's horse. And that's a Hutton. And that could be their daughter,
Oh.
Barbara Hutton,
Oh.
Yeah.
Barbara Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
But it's your dad, yeah, you can see that.
Well, it's his picture, so that must be him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's on Broadway again. That's the wedding day.
Yeah. The cake, I guess.
Yeah.
How old was he there? Isn't he cute?
Yeah, he must be about 12, huh? 12 years old.
Whose wedding day?
I
My parents.
think he was about 6 or 7, something like that.
That's all?
You were holding the cake.
Oh. He's older than that.
It was taken by Hawkins.
And that's him as a
Yeah.
baby.
Now that is one of the chairs that got ruined by the water where we stored it. We had beautiful furniture. This was we had a red chair like that and a green one. And then we had a French settee,
Oh, yeah. Oh, those are darling.
beautiful, and chairs to match
Yes.
that. And we stored that with Palace Furniture here because the house wasn't big enough. We came from a big house to a little one, and then we were going to the Burns farm. And when we went to get them, the ceiling had leaked and dripped and dropped and rotted the furniture.
Wouldn't that just...
My dad thought it was so wonderful because he didn't charge us anything for storage. So we couldn't come back at him for anything.
And your dad thought that was okay.
Well, no, I don't know. Everybody felt bad about it, but couldn't do anything about
Paid
it.
for it anyway.
Oh. wouldn't
Couldn't
that-
do anything about it.
Well,
So cute.
Yeah. He's wondering what's going on, isn't he?
It must be about 6, 7 months or so.
Pretty young.
yeah.
There's Arnold. Everybody thought a lot of Arnold.
I think that,
Maybe it isn't.
That's my dad.
See, yeah, it's your dad, and then Arnold had a dark horse. He didn't have a white horse.
Yeah.
A white horse, a dark horse would never take a white picture. No, this is your
that's my dad staying on a horse.
and his dog.
Yeah.
That's pretty brave.
And nobody there with him.
Somebody took a picture.
I can't tell.
Yeah.
No one's hanging on to him.
No, he was probably 8,
Yeah,
9
that's
years
your
old.
dad. There they are. That's our puppies.
Who's that then? That's my dad and,
Beth Floyd. You see, Beth's mother was a sister of Aunt Cora Floyd. And when Beth was born, her mother died in childbirth. So, of course, Aunt Cora took Beth to raise because they never could have any children. So they raised her, and so she's always been our cousin. They adopted her for her high school graduation, but they never, you never knew the difference, but they legally adopted her then. She knew her sisters and her brothers and her dad. They all came to visit just the same, but they raised her. And so she got married, and she had this son, Roger, and a son, Skip, or Floyd, his name was. So
Floyd.
that's who we talk about when we talk about
John. Their last name is
John Rogers, and his brother's name was Skip, but his real name was John.
Floyd.
Or I mean Floyd, yeah, Floyd.
John.
Rogers, Floyd Rogers.
And
So that's how we're related to them.
Oh.
And that was old Tippy and Sport's puppies.
which one was Tippy and which one was Sport? Was it, who had the puppies?
They're all,
Who had the puppies?
the father was Sport.
Who was Sport? Okay, Tippy had the puppies.
Tippy had the puppies. And one time Roland and Doris came home from a date, and it was about 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night, and they got out of the car, and Sport kept running up to them and then running back to the barn. He ran up to them, kept running, and he'd go, So finally they said, well, let's see what he wants. So they followed him and went into the barn. He jumped into the horse's manger, and there lay Tippy with his puppies.
Oh.
Now, if you don't think that was smart, he had to show those puppies
Smart
off.
little dog.
Yeah,
I guess that's my dad on
but
it.
they were like family anyway. Those. Yeah, that's your dad.
Yeah, I think all these, they're, like I said, in alphabetical order, so these will be all over.
Huh?
These are in alphabetical order, so these are all my dad.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
on his horse, I guess.
So we're almost done?
We're down, yeah.
How we doing?
You having fun yet?
Yeah.
Well, that's him too, I guess, on one of your horses.
Now, I should know that horse. Oh, that's Jesse. That horse is Jesse. That's our white horse on the farm. This is at Heartland on the Southwick farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is our new double corn crib. And then later we built a new hog house over here.
I think this is Jessie the female.
And he's on Jesse. And Jesse's the one that had all the mules.
He was the mule stud.
That's right. No, she was the mule mother.
Mother, okay.
Mule
And
mare.
who was? And then the
Jack. We had a guy.
Jack
he
was the
was the father.
he was the donkey.
Yep.
Jack was the donkey, so that's how they got their mules.
Whatever. But he was the dad.
So she was the mule,
Yep, that's Jesse.
sire of the mules.
Yep. Here's Howard Evans,
Who's Howard Evans?
a neighbor boy, good friend of ours. He was about 12 there. There's Pearlie Floyd at camp in France.
That was World War I. And those were the leggings that my dad had.
That's right. See another hole in that tree.
That picture.
picture.
Yeah. Got it before it fell apart.
And this is a cousin whose name is Forrest Wimpkin. Forrest had a very sad death. He slid off of a haystack, and there was a fork there.
Fork
Don't
and
even tell me.
No, I hate to tell it too.
Yeah.
Gracious.
Yep.
Oh, somebody left the fork and, oh, good grief.
There's your dad with his 4-H calf.
Yeah.
And we kept this pony on the farm for somebody. And we enjoyed having him, but couldn't trust him really. But
Who are the kids?
that's your dad and
He's holding the horse. And those are some boys, I guess, and a girl maybe.
who those kids are.
Yeah.
Are they Donnie and yeah, can't
No,
be.
they don't look like anybody I know.
No, it goes, whose are they? But that's your dad, I know,
Yeah.
behind them there. I don't know whose kids those are. Oh, I do now. That's Warren Floyd. That's Warren, the one that went to the war, and his sister Lois.
Oh, okay.
That's who that is. Yep,
So his cousins then.
yep, cousins, Warren and Lois.
And Warren is the one that died in
Yeah.
North Africa.
He was the first one when, my boy. Now there's your dad with the duck. You heard the story of the ducks?
Well, you can tell the story.
He got in, he was 2 years old, and he got in the pen with the ducks, and he was running after every one of them and killed everyone. Squeezed them.
Little tiny ones, oh.
My mother came out. He got into the duck pen somewhere.
The ducks were gone. Or the
There's
ducks were there, but they weren't
So they took a
moving.
picture of him holding dead ducks, huh?
That was the age he was, so they took a picture of him with a duck.
Oh.
Oh, my mother hated that haircut. Ooh,
And that's
yeah, there's the ducks. With
the
the
ducks
chicken.
with the chicken. And they were raised by a chicken?
Yep.
That was before you got a hold of them.
When I was in about 5th grade, I was supposed to write a composition. And I couldn't think of a thing to write about. So when my name was called to read my paper, I got up in front of the class and I made up a story. And I said there was a duck, or see, how was it? There was a mother chicken who was set on duck eggs. And when she hatched the ducks and they went down to the brook, and the little ducks would go swimming, you know, and she'd stand on the shore and wait for them. And one year they put duck eggs on, chicken eggs under the hen. And when the little chickens were hatched, she took them down to the pond, and they didn't know enough to go in, so she swept them in with her wings. And that's what I told for my story. And when I got back to my seat, I crumpled that paper all up, you know, and the teacher came by to collect them, and she said, I want yours too. Oh, I said, it wasn't any good. I said, I'm going to write it over.
Oh.
She didn't know I didn't have anything.
She didn't know
So that
you
was your-
didn't have.
your story made up.
Oh, I thought maybe she knew that you
No,
were.
she didn't know I hadn't
Oh, she
didn't
didn't
have
know.
anything.
Oh.
So I told that story. Because
Very clever.
it was one I was acquainted with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken that took care of ducks.
I was a little old red hen. There he is with the calf again on the front. I bet he was about 2 years old. And he ran away from home in March. And they looked for him everywhere because it was a March foggy day. They couldn't see anything down the road, you know. You couldn't see a thing. And here he had walked all the way to Manchester and found the school where I was. And he came to my room. And his little face was so red, and he had all kinds of black little spots on it from the weather, you know. So I remember I had him in my seat, and I took my handkerchief and spit on it and washed his face. And then after the school was over with, somebody called him Bill. He took off his jacket or overalls and he went after them. My name is not Bill, he said. He never did like to be called Bill. Never.
Oh.
He told me that when he lived on Bridge Street. So I never did get used to my name being Bill, he said. So I called him William, you know, after that.
I can call him Uncle Bill.
But I'll tell you one thing,
Oh, did you?
Uncle William.
Oh.
I knew it because
Oh, it was, oh.
I knew it because
Yeah.
when we got mad at each other, I'd call him Bill.
Oh, of course. Oh, that's
And I
typical
knew
brother
it
and
was that.
sister trick.
That's Grandma Floyd with little Johnny Squires, her neighbor boy.
Johnny Squires, huh?
Now, Grandma wasn't, she was, I think, in her early 60s and looked like that.
Wow.
It's your dad. Does it say on the back who it is? You
I don't know
didn't-
who that is. No.
Is that one of the ones
no.
that's here?
I think that's Lois.
Yeah.
Lois Bogan, Lois Floyd.
Mm-hmm. He's too young for Donna.
That's Florence.
Florence on
Mm-hmm.
the
She's
drag.
the only one that could plow or drive a straight line. I'd get on the horse probably in this corner of the field, and I'd end up in the right across over
Oh, you were
there.
allowed to go on the horses and stuff?
Well, we were supposed to be being taught how to do it.
Oh,
You know, sure, you're allowed to. I tell you, that's a risk sitting on something like that even, you know, you could fall out. I bet she wasn't over 10 years old when she was sitting there.
oh. We were never allowed to go on anything.
But she could talk to horses. That was the difference.
Oh.
When the horse saw me coming, they'd go the other way.
You
She'd
didn't
come
talk
with
to
a,
her then, huh?
she'd come with a halter, not even a harness, or I mean,
Saddle.
what do you call it? Bridle.
Oh,
And she'd put that halter on the horse and she'd get on his back, and away they'd go barebacked, you know. And I'd try and get on the horse, and oh gosh, have him standing there so quiet, and she'd be there with me, and just as soon as my leg got up to get on the horse would go way over to the other side, and I'd have to jump down. Oh,
you weren't into it.
they knew I was afraid of them.
Yeah.
I liked the cows. That's William and Warren. Here he is on that Southwick farm.
All dressed up with
I
ready to go.
suppose he was about 5, something like that. But you can see what a beautiful farm that was. The house wasn't pretty, but the layout was so pretty. This big, oh, beautiful grass here in the front. And then these trees were between the house. You see, the house was behind these trees. And they were maple trees. And we'd collect maple syrup, sap from them, you know,
Oh,
in the mornings before
Uh-huh.
we go to school. That would be our job. And William and I. And then we had to sweep under the trees because no grass would grow there. And so we'd have to sweep the ground. Well, then, after I got grown up, I think I realized how we found pennies. Every Saturday we had to do that. But I think my dad must have thrown out handfuls of pennies,
because
so we
they were
wanted to
always
do
there
it.
on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Have to sweep
And there
up
were a lot
the,
of little twigs like that from the trees, you know, a lot of little stuff, and no grass. And then we'd have set picnic tables out there on that nice clean ground, you know, for Sundays. And we had a lot of company in that little house. I think you can't believe. There he is, ready for the CCs.
yeah. CCC. C.
Don't leggings on that.
Yeah. That's probably the uniform then.
By that time, he was wearing, what do they call them, toupees, or
No.
toupees, wasn't it?
What, the leggings?
Puttees, that's what they call them, puttees.
Okay.
Those leggings, puttees.
Oh, I've never heard that.
That's his
term
discharge paper when he got out of the CCCs, Civil Conservation Corps.
A member of the Civilian Conservation Corps, 1933. Student. Did it give his height on your?
No, it was just a discharge, I think,
It's the discharge.
from the, when he got out of this.
Because he was full grown, you know, by 14. He really was.
I think that's the other part of it.
Don't give your height.
They lied about their age, though.
No. That was when during the Depression, and they were providing work to kids and people that needed work, so they put them in
Uncle William.
Worked on the parks.
work on parks,
yeah.
built parks. They built a lot of parks in Minnesota and throughout the country that they worked on. That's somebody who was with, I think, in the
I think so.
CCCs. That's his group of the guy. He's one of those. I'm not sure which one it is.
I know he showed us all these when he got home, but
That's him. We went by real quick for him in his bunk. That's more of his friends. On the CCC, when they were working in the logging, I think they were cutting down trees then in northern Minnesota or someplace. I think that was a.
he really kind of enjoyed that.
I think he enjoyed it a lot, yeah. And that was a picture of from that tower that we
Yeah.
just saw. I think that's where they lived in that in that little cabin there. And they did logging, cleared some logging, some areas up in northern Minnesota. That's more of the equipment they used. These are his pictures from that time he was with them. That was the cabin that they lived in. The work they did. Looks like fun, huh? A sigh and
I don't think he minded it.
was that a sickle or a sigh? Sickle, right? When they cut with a thing like that.
Nobody there, I know he did. There he
That's
is.
him in the middle there.
There
Right
he
there.
is.
Wasn't a sign along with just one big...
Yeah, the sickle is just a small hand sickle. Yeah. More of him. There's their wedding picture, right?
Doris and Roland.
Yeah.
Look at the pretty shoes he had on.
Yeah.
You say say for their honeymoon, they camped out at Wedge Nursery? Is that what you said? They camped out at Wedge Nursery? Yeah.
Oh,
This is all his trip. This is
right
his,
here in town, right?
I think, probably the mules that they used. Oh, this is on his trip west.
Err.
That was on his trip west. He picked some guy, some cowboy. They were
Yeah, real one, isn't it? It's a real one.
a real cowboy.
Real
Yeah.
cowboy. Pretty in there.
That's
Isn't that pretty?
Falls in Wyoming. More, that's the same falls from a different angle, I guess.
Looks like Yosemite, is that where it is?
I don't know. I was out someplace out there. This is, I think this is what he did when he was out there. He worked on a sheep farm and herded sheep. That's a real Indian. That was a long time ago. It looks like when you're,
That's our house on the Burns farm. We still had to bank it though.
with the manure.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Lots of straw, you know,
Yeah.
and all that.
I guess it wouldn't smell because it freezes
Yeah.
right after you put that.
Where is he on there? I know he,
The end, I think. Last one there. And
yeah, the last one, yeah.
what is that? Is a high school or grade school class, or
Oh,
Where that was.
you don't know what that is?
Huh?
Is that grade school or
Oh, out in the country?
country school or something?
I don't know. Can't imagine these buildings there. I don't know what that was.
Maybe. They have good-
They have their Indian headdress on there.
Yeah. I don't know any of those other little boys either. Oh well. There's our bunch at country school. You know them? Billy Ohm, Art Nicholson, Donnie Tavis, William, Karina, Rosalind Drummerhausen, Bernice Kaufman, Hazel Drummerhausen, Edna Huber, our teacher.
Tell about the story
Gee, I
that,
haven't seen that picture for ages.
that's you were telling a story about your you taught school one time.
Yeah, I taught that bunch.
no.
And the little ones, yeah. For about 4 days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And the way I started out with them, I said, now you've got to be good or we'll never be able to do this again. They won't ask us to do this again. So they were good. I couldn't believe it.
You lucked out.
But she called and asked my dad if he'd let me, you know. Oh, he says, if you think she's capable, of course. He said, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I took the picture, I suppose.
Teacher's still alive too.
There he is.
Really?
Around 100.
Oh, gracious.
How old is Edna Huber?
14.
How old is Edna Huber?
She is 98, I think, now, the teacher. She's almost
Okay.
100, yeah. She's still living.
She was
And
No, not that much older than
she's
the
in
kid.
a
teacher.
rest home.
She was a teacher.
Oh,
She's 91, she's 98. That's only 7 years difference
yeah,
from teacher to
right.
student.
Seen that one before, I think. Seen that one before too. Oh, this is a
There's the grandpa that
a great
belongs to
one.
the other grandma.
Hey, who's that now?
Grandpa Morrill. I don't know their names, first names.
So that was the
My great-grandpa, your great-great-grandpa.
but your mother's
My mother's
mother's
grandpa.
mother's
Mother's mother, yes.
father.
Her, my mother's mother's father.
Okay. And I think the next one is his wife. Nope. That's Barbara and I, and
Oh, yeah.
in South Dakota, I think.
You know, you and Barbara make me think so much of Donnie and Donna, don't you? Pretty much alike, not the same difference in age.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who was that, Uncle Will?
I think so, and a friend or
That's Uncle
something.
Will here. Oh, that's Dr. Fry. That's his old fishing partner.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Dr. Fry, sure.
In South Dakota, right? Huron?
They came at 11 o'clock on the farm, those two men, and we three girls were alone on the farm. My folks were gone somewhere, and we had a chicken dinner ready for them at 12 o'clock. We killed the chicken, we scalded it, we cut it up, we fried it, we boiled potatoes, and we had and they were off on their way. And he still talks about that. He couldn't believe how we girls got
Boy,
there.
when I go to the grocery store to get the ones that are ready.
Yeah, but we
That'd be
killed
a struggle, right?
we killed our own a chicken. And
I'd be thin for sure.
my job was to peel the potatoes.
Oh, I hated peeling
Did you
potatoes.
tell him just to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Just,
That's I think all the grandchildren at that time. Yeah, you were late because you
You
were
kids weren't there.
Marion.
They weren't there yet that
Lola
day. We
weren't there.
came later.
The name of the one grandparent was Marl.
Moral. That was,
Well, I heard that termination with.
and that's
Queen of England, was Queen of England, Bill
Earless.
yeah, Earless Troll and whatever her name was before that. And that's Donnie and Donna and Earless and
All except us.
Yeah.
is it?
yeah, and Dorothy and Roger,
Hormel and Hormel.
Oh,
Raleigh and Jean.
hey, have you ever
And me
been to
and
the
Barb
Spam
and
Factory
Tommy.
Or the Spam Museum?
Well, we did. That was a good.
What's his name?
day. We got a lot of good pictures that day.
There's the old chains for manufacturing, and they kind of run.
Same
Same time, yeah.
Oh,
And they give the history of when
Spam.
it started and everything about it.
I always laugh at that, 'cause Dale still likes Spam.
It's
All
a
right.
nice machine.
Thank you. Yeah, this is Donna and Jean and Roger and Dorothy and Barbara, Tony, Tommy,
Cute little guy, Dale.
Tommy and me and Raleigh and Grandpa and Grandma.
Yep.
He doesn't have anything to do with Spam.
You get it?
I did.
Yeah, do it again. I think there it is. Maybe that's the last one.
Probably is.
I made it, huh?
Yay.